life, your term show.
So what's going on, guys? Greg, last time we talked, you were on this podcast, we were talking about e-commerce.
Yes.
And now you're selling running shoes. No.
Not only selling running shoes. Yeah, we still do what we used to do. So e-commerce, big time. So we've been selling the last, 15 years? No, 12 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Holy cow. Outdoor brands are some of your biggest stuff, right?
Yeah, outdoor, but also the health and fitness with Tape Geeks, with tape. And right now, like a year ago, we introduced the Breathe Plus series.
What's that, for the nose?
For the nasal strips. So we have nasal strips for kids, for adults. We have mouth tape.
What do people use those for? For sleeping? Or do they use them for like activity, like running and stuff?
Also activities, yeah, for sure.
For mostly for sleeping. Like I cannot go without the nasal strip go to sleep. So I've been sleeping with the nasal strips for the last 3-4 years.
Because it just opens up the airway little bit more.
It just gives you so much more air and just not force you to breathe through your nose, but you wake up much more refreshed.
Huh. And Charles, you've been running for a competitive runner for a long time.
Yeah,
right.
Quite a bit since I was 14. Got out of running, was in running, out of running, back into running. My wife kept convincing me, you're driving me crazy. Get out there and keep going doing it. So.
That's what my wife says the same thing to me if I don't go to the gym for a day or two. She's like, "Hey, you're a little bit too amped up. Like, go to the gym and then come home."
Yeah, please get out of the house.
Yeah. So, but did you say, Greg, we were saying earlier, were you on a Canadian national team?
So I made Canadian standards and Olympic standards back in the late 70s.
Wow.
So obviously my goal was to be in the Olympics in 1980, and of course it got boycotted, so I didn't get to go. So that was not a great thing. That's why I quit the first time. Just mentally hard to get your head wrapped around, okay, I got to plan for another 4 years and try for Los Angeles, and my heart wasn't in it. So ended up quitting and doing a different sport, and got back into running again for a while, then got into competitive curling, and decided that, no, I want to go back to running, and started going, the journey back. And it was a journey because even though you know how to do things, when you get back, if you've been away from it for a while, getting back to it is quite a process. So.
Yeah, especially if you were used to performing at a certain level. I'd imagine it's hard to maintain that, that high level of performance, right? So when you drop off to try to get back to that, it would be, I would imagine, be frustrating a little bit mentally.
Oh, it is, because in your mind, you think you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and it's like, oh, I'm in a 40-year-old body and I've gained like 30 pounds, but I can still do this.
Yeah. The joints don't respond the same way with the extra 30 pounds.
Taking the first 3 steps is very difficult.
That's cool. So now you guys are getting together. So how do you guys know each other?
Through running, from the running room, I think, about 10 years ago. Yeah,
we met briefly about 10 years ago, and then just before COVID, we started a group called Brawny Runners, and it was started by someone else, and I took it over shortly after, and we were running along Lakeshore, and I saw Greg running toward us. And of course, we said hi to him, and
Greg was lost.
Well, he wasn't exactly lost, but his both knees were taped heavily, and it wasn't the best form, and I could see why he was hurting. So eventually, we got chatting, and I said, I can change that for you, so you don't have to wear so much tape. And it was just a matter of changing running form and style, Greg started because we were running separately. Then he started running with the group, which was great. And then we had a few people that originally were maintained, even through COVID, maintained that group. And there were a few of us, but we made a decision to keep the group going. And I said to Greg, I can't do this by myself. I need help. So Greg agreed graciously to be a part of the leadership of Brawny Runners. Which
so how many people are involved right now?
We have just a little under 700.
Really?
As our membership now.
As a membership, but active runners, about maybe 200.
Yeah, but even that, 700 active membership is like, and 200 active runners. Is that like So that when you say active runners, do you guys get together like weekly to run together, or is it just kind of like a few times a week?
A few times a week.
Yeah.
So we have active runs. So one is on Wednesday, out of running room in Oakville. But then we have a Saturday and Sunday runs as well. So we have different runs.
Oh, that's awesome.
And within the week, also Charles is coaching groups and different runners just to prepare them for races.
Huh. So when now a selfish question. So when I run, my calves generally get lit up pretty good. I don't know if it's just from running or it's because they're tight to begin with a bunch of other exercise I do, and then maybe I don't take care of them properly, and and then maybe it's worse. I don't know. So is that something that like my running form could actually potentially? Greg.
Yeah, definitely.
You've been holding out on me all this time. You see me slumbering around the gym. Like I have like 2 concrete blocks running around the gym attached to my legs, and you don't try to help.
Before Charles told me what to do, so I think my PB on my 21K, it improved about 18 minutes. And also for the 5K or 10K, it's just I slash my time, like for 5 minutes or even more. Yeah. And it's just to cut, basically just to improve your form, change your shoes, take care of, what you have to run properly.
So it's amazing when you follow someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
It actually helps. You can actually learn something.
Definitely. The same is like in a gym, if you have a coach to show you how to do squats, or you can damage yourself pretty easily.
I bet you with running though, more people take it for granted because it's just like, well, I don't know, you just go, you move your feet in front of another and that's it. You don't have to think about it, right?
And you move forward.
Yeah. So more people are just like, I don't know, why do I need a running coach? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the technique is so important, or your running mechanics. I would say about 20 years ago, everybody poo-pooed, anything to do with running form because it just said you're naturally fast. Well, it's taken a few universities to do studies to understand that running technique plays a huge part of your performance. And so there's a great emphasis on it today that whether you're a recreational runner or, someone of a mid-tier or even an elite runner, technique is extremely important, especially when it transfers into performance and, trying to accomplish your achievements, like certain achievements such as I want to qualify for Boston. Well, there's a qualifying time you have to make. So it's a goal that you have to focus on. The only way you're going to get there, number one, is by having proper running technique to start with. And then within that technique, then comes all the training that goes with it, because just running distance is not going to make you faster. It's not going to get you where you want to be. And in order to do that, training is just as important as the aspect of putting endurance running in or putting the miles in, if you will. Mm-hmm. So as far as your knees, absolutely. Just sitting here, I can't tell what your problem is.
Of course, yeah.
But if I saw you run there's a good chance within a few seconds I'll know exactly how to correct it and make those. It's not
a pretty sight. Look, compared to my brother, I look like I'm floating on air. Okay, just for the record. So hopefully he hears this part, but still not a pretty sight. So
yeah, I saw you running, but I never seen Tom running.
Yeah, it's. I feel like I look pretty good compared to Tom. And I should look good compared to anyone, because when I see like someone that knows what they're doing run, it's just like. It seems so effortless.
It's completely different.
And I know the way that I feel when I do it. I'm like, I'm not doing something right. That's for sure.
And once you understand, the logic of it, and because your body is connected, you have a spine, and you basically every movement that is not necessary, there is a cause and effect. If you are moving your shoulders incorrectly, there is a part of muscles that are not supposed to be moving.
Yeah, I've learned that lesson now like so many times. People that are efficient at things, it takes something like skipping. So I can skip, decently, but I'm not as efficient. So it just takes so much more out of me. Whereas someone else will do the same amount of skipping as me, and they're done, and they almost look slightly rested, whereas I'm huffing and puffing. So same skill, just different technique, and it's just not as good. So now you guys have got together. And so explain to me the latest kind of project you guys are working on coming up in a couple months.
Go ahead.
No, what we came this idea of having our own race, it came up probably 2-3 years ago. We always, when we were out there running and saying, okay, Oakville is such a nice place to be, enjoying the summer, and it would be nice to have a race, like a proper running race, just at the lake and in the park, because we always start from the Bronte Park. It's really nice. And then we said it would be nice to have a race like this. And then we always participating with, some other races like Moon in June, Oakville 21, and the other races. And finally, we decided last year that we will put our own race, which we called Bronte Harbor Classic, and it will be 5K race. And right now, since our title sponsor is Mercedes-Benz Oakville, so we are calling this Mercedes-Benz Oakville Bronte Harbor Classic.
It's pretty cool what you guys have decided to do, though.
We wanted to, emphasize community. And since we run in the Bronte area, there was nothing really there. So we wanted to have something that was actually Bronte runners in Bronte, and to build that larger community, to promote fitness and charity, because charity is a big thing of what we do. This last year we raised over $28,000 for Terry Fox Foundation. So charity is a big part of what we do as a group. And we just wanted to build something that would last a long time for the area and really bring the community in. And that's why we're having such a big expo as part of the run. We're going to have the whole park. There's going to be music. There's going to be stuff for the kids, a 1K kids run, bouncing castles. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be a lot of stuff to bring people. And we're having it on Father's Day, which is June 21st. And I also said it's a great birthday party for me since I turned 68 there. And then so we're going to throw a big 68th birthday party for me. What better way is to have a race? No,
68. 68. Running must be keeping you young.
It's keeping me busy.
It is. I mean, it must be. So that's really cool what you guys are doing. The community aspect is awesome, and making it an event. Mm-hmm. And then you do it on a weekend like that where people are already kind of thinking about spending time together, and they might, they go out to the water, like to different areas, often by the waterfront to go for a walk, where they'll see this type of thing. And then it's more than just because if it was 5K, it's more than just a 1 or 2 hour thing, depending on, you make it a day long thing. So it just kind of increases exposure for everyone.
Mm. Yeah. And next year we want to expand it to a 5 and 10K. So bringing the community in and having different access points from the community was very important to us, and to support local businesses as well, because that was something that we talked about, that we really wanted to support local businesses in the area.
That's cool. And then, but you guys have, I know, Greg, you have a ton of stuff on the go, and Charles, I don't know you as well, so I don't know what you have on the go, but I mean, in today's world, people usually are quite busy with things. To pile this on, it's not a small undertaking to try to organize something like this.
Yeah, it's taken us 3 years to get to this point. It's been a lot of work. Greg's done, especially in this last push, Greg has done a ton of work for us, and greatly appreciated, Greg. Yeah, it does take a lot of time. Fortunately, I'm retired, but in retirement, I'm even busier than ever.
Yeah,
I think
good for
everybody's heard that.
Yeah, but I think that's healthy. I think retirement was kind of at a different time. This true retirement at a certain age where you just kick back
But he's retired and having fun.
Yeah,
that's basically.
And I'm out of the house. It makes my wife happy.
Yeah, well, but you get to spend your time where you want it. If that's ultimately what the retirement is. Right. I think sometimes people picture retirement like, okay, I'm just going to do nothing. I'm like, well. I mean, I think now a lot of studies show that if you retire and you stop using your body and your mind, things can fall off pretty quickly, right? So it's healthy to be up to stuff. I'd imagine. I'm not there yet. I'm actually getting closer than I ever really thought of. But I have a little ways to go. What? Excuse me, Greg. With all the stuff you're have on the go, you started using AI to do some of this stuff for you?
Yeah, the AI, I've been using it for the last, 2-3 years. But the level of AI that we are using right now, since probably last 12 months, when I kind of started to understand, what the real AI is, it's a completely different aspect.
So give me an idea. So when you started using it, like everyone, probably you used it as in the equivalent of a Google search, right? Large language model. You went to ChatGPT and started doing a couple of things.
Yeah, just asking questions, getting answers, and getting excited. How good AI is.
And now, and then when you said you're using it more efficiently, or it does more for you now?
Oh yes, definitely. It's just like last year, I basically switched to basically AI like Cloud Code. So started with coding, vibe coding, and my last interaction with coding was like 25 years ago, where I had a class of Visual Basic during the university.
I took Visual Basic too when I went to school.
So I did a little program for myself for my engineering class, but that was it. I never did coding itself, so I never knew that I would be going back to this.
Yeah.
But last, I think, May, I got really hooked in. And, just since that time, I started with vibe coding and did a couple of apps, released them on Apple, and then started with coming up with the different websites, landing pages for our businesses.
So do you have it? Are you having it create the full page, or are you having it do a design and then you're having it create the page?
Yeah, everything. So from the scratch, from the design point to the end product.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, he had me fooled because all of a sudden I noticed all the stuff that he was posting on the website. I said, did you take a creative writing course? It's so much better. And then I had to compliment him this week because he made me look about 20 years older. So that was great.
Nice. Well, so that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if the site that you put up for the run did you had AI do that?
Yes. Yeah. I completely vibe coded with Cloud Code. And so it's called BronteHarborClassic.com. And I think it looks awesome, but also to change anything on the website, to add something to all I have to do, I can do this from my phone.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
So it's just like right now, I don't have to code. My code is basically when I'm talking to the prompt.
Yeah.
All right, baby. Are you positioning your future on yesterday's financial system or positioning yourself for what's coming next? Because this is bigger than a housing cycle. The economic system itself is shifting, and the gap between people who understand that shift and those who don't is widening fast. On Saturday, April 18th in Mississauga, the Your Life, Your Terms event brings together a full-day deep dive into what's actually shaping your life right now. You'll hear how money quietly influences society, politics, and your rising cost of living. You'll see a clear breakdown of the great economic phase transition into AI, energy, and a coming wave of liquidity. You'll get a fact-based look at what real investors around the Golden Horseshoe are doing right now to generate profits. You'll learn how to structure wealth intelligently using corporations and trusts so your legacy is large and intentional. You'll walk through a live interactive workshop on taking custody of your digital capital, and you'll see in real time how artificial intelligence can level up your life, your business, and your investing starting immediately. This isn't about incremental improvement. This is about understanding the operating system of the new economy so you can thrive. Past attendees have called this the most important investing day of the year. Many have said one idea alone paid for their ticket many times over. Seats are limited. Pricing increases as we get closer. Every year, this room fills with people who act early. So here's the move. Pull out your phone, go to yourlifeyourtermsevent.com, look at the agenda, and decide, are you just living life inside the system or learning how it actually works? That's yourlifeyourtermsevent.com, Saturday, April 18th in Mississauga. Rockstar members get in free. Yeah, baby, yeah!
This is the thing that I think catches people off guard with this stuff. Like, everyone's busy and people are trying to, it's harder and harder now. Like, look, the reality is it's harder and harder to either get ahead or even kind of stay the same almost with where costs are going. So people are looking at incomes and looking at trying, they're like, hey, I kind of want to do this, or just stuff that they want to do for themselves. But they always feel like there's not enough time to do things. Whereas I feel like once more people get used to this type, using AI for these types of purposes, it just opens up opportunities for people to then go down these other paths for themselves. And whether it's for financial gain or if it's just for emotional gain, where it's like, hey, this is just something I really like. I want to be involved in, like you guys with running. It kind of gives people this opportunity that you might not be able to kind of squeeze in otherwise. You
And
know?
it's amazing how everything looks and feels. It would take me, if I was doing it myself, it would take me weeks. What he's doing in minutes.
Yeah, it just cuts the time dramatically. Not only, website is one thing, but communication. It requires a lot of different piece of puzzles to put in communication with vendors, with town, all the permits and everything. It took us almost 2 months to get us the date what we wanted. So I had probably about 60 emails between ourselves and town of Oakville just to give us the date.
But the AI is not doing any of that for you. You're
Everything.
It's responding to the email.
Not responding. I have different flows as well for responding. Let's say for my own business, I have flows that basically I research potential customers, and then I have a flow that it actually sends out the emails itself as well.
Gotcha.
So I have I'm using Lindy for that. Just basically through the flow. But normally I keep because Cloud Code, it allows you to work locally. So you have all the folders for all the vendors, everybody that you're communicating with, and there's every single piece of communication that we had, throughout the last 8 months.
So it's managing it for you, organizing it, and doing
all managing, but also if I don't remember, what did I say, 4 months ago, all I have to do is just, okay, we had the discussion during our meeting about this. Tell me what was the outcome, because we are recording all our meetings, and then we transcribe all the meetings. We put everything, minutes of meetings. Everything is
it's this awesome little database that you can use for anything. And then if there's a conversation that you were having, and then that you wanted to pick up on it for some reason, or with a sponsor or something, you can just go in and ask I don't know if it's set up that way, but you can just ask the question and be like, hey, what was the latest with this, and where do we leave it? And it's just all right there.
Yeah.
Like it changes things. And I'm curious though, because you hear the term AI slop.
Yeah.
Right. So because now there's so much more coming out, and you can kind of get a sense when some people are using AI, because they really they don't guide it to be, they just leave it very generic, I guess. Right. And I think we're going to be inundated with crap. Right. And a lot of it's going to be crap because some people won't use it well. So, and you were going to say something. I had a question for you guys, but go ahead. What are you thinking on that?
No, that's true. But you can teach, how to say it, and it can teach. It can learn your own language.
Yes.
So that's why we are using a lot of, first of all, connections to different tools, MCPs, but then skills. So skills is just basically a set of standard operating procedures for the AI to understand what you want. And
but you're doing that.
Yes.
I don't think the average user is doing that. And because I know that's some of the challenges we've had in our office where I'm like, guys, like this, you get.
But you can learn this. It's just to understand this. It takes some time. It's just like last summer when I was, like I said, for 20 years, I never went back to the terminal. So terminal is just the black box where you type like in DOS.
Yeah.
So I went back to this. I had to relearn that. And, the first few interactions, it was just basically going in and said, what the heck is this? I don't get it. And then going back and forth. Once you get it, it just clicks.
Yeah.
How to do it.
Yeah. No, I got you. And I hear you. And I like, yes, I agree with everything you're saying. So you went back to like Apple things. So for an example, like you said, you launched a couple apps in Apple. So Apple's inundated with apps now, right? Because everyone can program and launch these apps. And then, you Tom and I when we talk about this, we try to extrapolate this out. We're like, so in a world where that type of thing becomes far more abundant, right? Information's already abundant, but now it's going to be information even more abundant than it was in videos and different apps and images and all this stuff that can just be created like nonstop. You can have something just working for you. I'm looking at what you guys are doing, about an in-person event where there's actual connection. And I'm like, this is interesting because these types of things, I think value they bring to people and to the community is amplified now. Because, and I don't know, like maybe there's going to be like humans can connect socially eventually. We morph to be able to do it digitally as well as we can in person. But up to this point, we haven't been able to. And I just look at what you guys are doing. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool because you're able to use those types of tools, but then for something else that's providing a different purpose versus just like the end result of some other digital thing, another website, another app, another whatever, right? That's kind of the way I'm looking at this stuff. And then I extrapolate it one, and I'll just finish this, and then I want to hear what you have to say, Charles, because then I was going to ask you guys about like the sponsors that you're getting and the people that are coming and the people that are helping you. Like I'd imagine, I'm guessing, and I don't want to make this assumption, but I'm thinking that there's some relationships involved in that. And that's why you guys are able to get the support that you're getting, is because there's this in-person aspect that you're layering on the tech aspect. So you were going to say something in the middle of that.
Well, I was just going to say that it is so useful from a training perspective because it opens up a whole new world to be able to explain to, say, a beginner runner that these are the things you need to do and illustrate it in a way that they can understand. Where if I go back 30 years or even 20 years ago, this wasn't available to us and we couldn't really explain it and show it without a myriad of drawings and lines and then other pictures to make it. But with AI, this all comes together all in one. It's clearly explained, it's clearly illustrated, and where the emphasis needs to be with lines drawn on a human body, it's easy to add these things in where it was more arduous process, say, even 5 years ago. So we've come a long way, and it's a really great training tool.
Yeah, see, I never even thought about that. And you make a good point, because it's just, I just go back to the number of people. So I think the vast majority of people have barely used it at all. Maybe they've used some sort of LLM, and asked a couple of questions, using it like a Google search. And then either those people or other people that even use that a little bit more, and they're just like, well, it can't really do anything. Like, I don't see a purpose for it. Like, okay, it's going to answer, it's pretty cool. It answers some questions, and I can talk to it back and forth. It's kind of cool. It's just, I think this is like a good everyday use case in both scenarios. Like in the scenario you just described, like you're able to use it for actually physical training people. And then you guys are able to then use it to then layer on something else onto, I was going to say your business, but it's not. It's like I call it a passion project or whatever it is, a side hustle, whatever. You're able to layer that on and have the time and ability to do it without it. Because if you had to do it, remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if you had to put up a website, you had to manage all these notes from the things and organize things, like it take forever. But all of a sudden now, like you're able to kind of do this, and it allows you to do more things that you want to be focusing on.
Yeah, the real cool part of this is for a race, AI can take you through the race and show you the elevations and actually show you the entire course. So I'm going to really date myself here. When we wanted to see what a course is, we actually had to go to the course, which was sometimes difficult if we were running in Europe. And we'd have to do the whole course to get an idea of what we needed to train for. Now AI can put the whole course with the elevations and the turns, so you know exactly what to prepare for. You don't even have to leave your couch to know what you need to do. Now it's like, okay, I see. Now I know what it's going to be a bend here. It's going to be maybe a 3-degree elevation here. There's going to be a hairpin turn there. So all these things are, we could see this before we even get to the race. So it helps us prepare for the race, especially for those who are trying to accomplish, say, qualifying for Boston, running a major, or just doing a PB, and picking a course that's going to be the most conducive to giving them that performance and that goal, meeting that goal that they've set for themselves.
Yeah. And then I'm just thinking the organizers, you can punch it in and say, hey, I need it. Can you create a course starting here, finishing here with, I mean, I don't know how effective it would be, but it sounds like I need a few, 3 different elevations at these points in the, like it could probably figure something out.
This one is fully available. Like Google Maps is.
Will it do that though? Like
there's a API connection for Google Maps. So it basically gives you everything what Google Maps have, plus Google Earth
So then it'll take the
elevations and
yeah.
everything.
But the thing is, with AI, you could take you through the course.
No, that's
Yes,
better. Yeah, I'm just thinking from the
Yeah.
other perspective as
Yeah.
well. What are you? And you're using Claude Code directly? Because I installed OpenClaw
Yeah.
on a laptop that I leave in my office, and I leave it. I call it Hulk.
Okay.
And yeah, and I leave it there running, and because I didn't want to install it on my computer because I don't want to have access to all my files. Still, I'm still like playing with it, right? And I gotta admit, I kind of like it. Like it sits there on my desk,
No, for sure.
plugged in, running.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact that it's there. Like it's funny that there's this little, artificial intelligence robot
definitely.
thingy that sits there that I can chat with anytime on my phone, that it can do anything. I'm like, hey, send me this, look up this. I can before bed, like, hey, create this report, look up these 10 things, send me this, and and then it's just.
Yeah, since January when OpenCloud just came alive, it's just it's crazy. I haven't done too much with OpenCloud, so I'm still doing a lot of stuff with Cloud Code and Gemini and also sometimes ChatGPT. But for different things, you are using different tools.
Agreed.
Like with everything else.
Have you seen the Google one just came out that is more like a task manager?
Yeah.
It came out, I think it was last week. I forget what it's called. Have you seen that one yet?
No, not yet.
It's nuts because if you take 2 or 3 days off looking at the latest, like it changes so fast.
Yeah.
That you just like for about a week when I was gone around over March break, I didn't really keep up with much. By the time I came back, I'm like, I don't know, everything I knew is already outdated. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So what's the goal, guys? What's the goal with this? You're using AI to get this done. You're creating this community event. Like, is there like a big goal for you guys? Like, what makes this a success this year, and what makes it a success, in the future?
Well, we wanted this race to have the look and feel of an international race. So it's not just a standard race where you set up, you got a gun, a timer, your gun goes off, people run, come back, okay, get your bagel and your banana, and you go home. To make it really truly an event that people are excited to not only participate, but in from a running perspective, but also attend just to cheer people on and to make it a big community event. So the goal really is to have this continue to go on, get bigger and better, to have it sanctioned to be so you could establish an Ontario or a Canadian national record or even a world record on the course.
Oh, that's cool. What does it take to do that?
Well, both Athletics Ontario and Athletics Canada have criteria that you have to follow, and one of which is if it's a flat course, then you're pretty guaranteed it'll be sanctioned.
But I guess if there's too much downhill or something, then it's
flat and fast is always the best, and you're going to attract. We've already started by actually offering cash prizes. We're started already to attract elite runners to come in or pro runners to run our race.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Because then I guess for people that are running like into the running community, that's even more enticing. I don't mean the cash prize, but just to have some of the bigger names there. They're like, oh, it's kind of cool to go do an event that those types of people are doing as well, I would imagine, no?
Yeah, and our goal was not just to have another race, We wanted to do it right. And if we weren't going to do it right, we weren't going to do it at all. So we want to elevate the level of not only the look and feel, but the competition for it as well.
What's a fast time? Like what's a beginner, intermediate, and more advanced time for like a 5K?
Well, elite runner will run it in 14 minutes or less.
14 minutes. So that's 3 minutes. That's less than 3 minutes a kilometer.
3 minutes, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
For the other questions you ask, it's really contingent upon the individual. You can't really say that a 60-year-old can't run a 15-minute 5K because they can. So it's whatever you can do.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the 14 minutes. It's just weird when people know what they're doing. Like sometimes you just, it's not even long strides for that. It's usually like just short, fast strides from what I've seen people that look like they're not moving fast, but they are. If that makes sense.
Well, it's everybody's running technique is going to be different because our body types are different. So there will be a person whose cadence is higher, where you have someone with longer legs is more strides. So it's just based on the technique, the training, and effort that day.
Anyone that's faster runner than me or a better runner that has noticeably longer legs, I just tell them they're cheating. Is that accurate? That's the way I look at it. Hey, those legs, that's cheating.
Yes, yeah. You can say that probably.
Yeah, we have some long-legged runners, and we have some ladies who have very short legs and go very, very fast.
Yeah, the one thing is just for us is a community event. So basically, run is something that we love, and we really like to do. A social aspect is another thing. Like our group is really kind of a famous, first of all for our red shirts, but also for a social aspect. When we're going out there, we're having fun. So we talk, we basically have a social run.
We're very social.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But now so go ahead.
And the same thing with the race. So it's just we want to share with the community. We want to share with the region, actually, to have this race as a regional event that people can come, enjoy, and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're putting not only, like Charles said, not only a race, but after the race is the whole event planned.
Yeah,
it's more of us. We're very social. To give you an example,
for selfish purposes.
Yes,
we're very social. To give you an example, we've been doing I think we're going on our 5th year of doing what we call a jingle bell run during Christmas, where we all dress up in costumes. We put as many jingle bells on our body and LED lights as we could strap on there. We have a sound system. We go blaring, running through the neighborhood with Christmas music. And even though we have a lot of Muslim runners that are with us, they're out there with us as well, celebrating. And we just have a big tailgate party in the park, and everybody's invited. The kids come because they always think I'm Santa Claus, so I have lots of candies for them. And it's been a big event, and people were actually on the street getting their kids out on the porch watching us run by.
Oh, that's cool.
So they know that we're coming every year, and they look forward to that. And we enjoy being that sort of social group. The other part of it is, like I said, raising money for Terry Fox, because it does run from the same park that we always were in. And we occupy local businesses when we're doing our socials and our coffee runs, and we pretty much invade them. You see a coffee shop full of red shirts at any time of year.
Well, I apologize, because if I wear one of these red shirts and start running around the neighborhood, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, I'm not joining that running club." It can't be very helpful.
You mentioned also a charity aspect. Yes, we supporting the local charity, which is called Oakville Dads. So this is another group of I think close to 6,000 Oakville Dads.
Yeah, we're really excited to have them with us.
Yeah, that's cool. So basically all the donations and everything is going to go to towards the community. For all aspects that Oakville Dads are involved.
Mm-hmm. And do you competitively run, either of you?
I used to run competitively,
but not anymore.
Not anymore.
Are there age groups in running? Like I think in some competitions, it's every 5 years it goes to there's different categories for age groups.
Yeah, there's a masters group.
Yeah, there's a master group, and in the race there's 5-year increments.
Yeah, okay.
You compete against people in your own age group. But just because we're no longer, so a lot of us, able to have a goal of running in the Olympics or something like that, with Masters, we can always set Canadian records for our age group or Ontario records for our age group, and some of us are geared to doing that in the next few years. I know I am.
Oh, wow, really cool. That's cool.
But even for, this, we were talking about, all professionals. This run is for everyone. Absolutely. So whether you are, elite runners, sort of say, or just weekend runners, or you don't even you never run 5K before, all invited.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a 1K run for kids. Yeah,
yes,
I get it. Yeah, 100%.
And I always say to someone who's just going out there and they're running their first race, there's always going to be someone slower than you. So don't worry about it.
So someone that's looking at adding something, doing this, like through the process that you guys have been, and not necessarily a run, just whatever they're looking at kind of creating for themselves, whether it's a community, whether it's they're launching a new business, whatever, through the process that you guys have been through. Greg, maybe I'll direct this to you first. Through your e-com business, and when you started now 12 years ago, there was a big difference in what was available to you now than there is now, right? We're just talking about AI. So someone that's looking either to start some sort of side project that it was eventually going to turn into business or to turn into something like this, where would you guide them initially, let's say from, well, I don't want to kind of mess up your answer. So from a tech or any other angle.
It's like right now, there's no question asked. You have to know AI, and people might not like it. People will still, when I'm talking with some people knows AI as a chat GPT, and they still remember 2023 pictures with 6-8 fingers. It's not anymore like that. So, but you have to learn. For new graduate, for example, it's not enough that you finish college and university and you have a degree. You have to have today's knowledge.
Let me ask you guys both about that. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, because I was having a conversation with some guys after our hockey game on the weekend about degrees, because they were talking about a couple of their kids were finishing engineering. They knew someone that had recently got a job, but a bunch of engineering students had not got jobs from last year as well, specifically software engineering. Where do you think that goes? Like, what is the value of education today versus where it's going to be in 5 years? And I'm talking, when I say education, I mean a formal, university degree education. And let's remove the specifics, right? So let's remove doctor, engineer, the ones where you need a certification to do that type of thing. Like where does it go?
There's many entrepreneurs that they don't have a degree, or they basically quit before they finish the degree. So the degree doesn't, not talking about doctors and engineers. You don't have to have the degree right now to be successful. What you need to have to be successful is just to be willing to learn new things, what's available right now. And you can, 2 years ago, before AI, you could learn a lot of stuff through watching videos, watching different people putting their content out there. Right now, you can learn by interacting with AI and having the best teacher at your desk, by only asking questions. And
what do you think, Charles? Sorry, did I cut you off there, Greg?
No,
okay.
No, I think it's something that, you have to stay current. I ran my own companies. I had 3 companies that ran for 16 years, all in the visual arts, and we were always evolving. And I was always having to go back and do some form of retraining, whether we were cinematography to see what the camera could see when I was designing sets and building them, or understanding a product, or just the process kept changing. And if you had to stay current. So whether that was not only going back to the educational institutions to upgrade yourself and to be certified in that, but the practical aspect was extremely important. The hands-on aspect, because I met a lot of people who had the practical, but they had very little hands-on, and that would affect the end product all the time. So, but to stay current, like even today with AI, you have to stay current with it. It's just something that's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's not going away. We need to understand, if you're in business, it's going to help you, and there's a myriad of ways it can assist you.
So let me ask you 2 questions. Okay, so the first one's this. Someone there's a physio that went to school, great physio, they have a clinic, and you've heard about them, they have great Google reviews online. And so you're like, okay, I need some physio help with something. So obviously they're an option for someone that would come up local to you, easy to get to. Maybe you go see them. There's also someone else, posts a lot of content online. Looks like they know what they're talking about. So never went to university, but you've watched a number of their videos, you've listened to podcasts, and they've showed you exercises and things like that. So they've studied, they've consistently studied, but they never got that formal piece of paper that's like, yeah, I am now a physiotherapist, right? I'm using physio because of running. And I'm curious to know which person, if you had the opportunity, if you were able to reach out to one person first and directly speak with them, who would you want to reach out to? Would you put the person that you feel is up to date with all the latest stuff through their AI, or the person that has this formal training that maybe they are, maybe they're not? I have no idea, because they don't publish anything. I don't hear them anywhere, anything like that.
Go to the therapist.
Yeah, you would go to the therapist?
Well, Greg knows I have this issue. since COVID, there's been a lot of COVID coaches out there that are on the internet. They do YouTube, Facebook. They may have run, and they may have some background in running, and I would say 40% of what they give you is accurate, and the other 60% is something they made up. So eventually, it's going to get you hurt.
Okay.
So, like the person who, from a physical therapy point of view, may have some background, but now they're mixing their own stuff into it, where a physical therapist will stay at the course that will guide you to bring you back to your original strength and, of course, deal with any inefficiencies you may have. In running, it's important that you get proper instruction, because otherwise you will get hurt. Mm-hmm. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but you will get hurt.
What do you think, Greg?
There's different professions that you still need a physical contact, let's say, and one of them is physiotherapist, let's say, roofer, electrician, plumber, that AI will help them a lot, and it can move their business to the next level. But the knowledge that they acquired, it's theirs. And also, physiotherapy is basically there's too much involved with your body, and just muscles, ligaments, everything involved. Yeah, you can have an influencer that is very well trained. What to do, and AI can help them, to put the content out together. But it doesn't mean that they have a physical knowledge about that.
So, but when your knees were all taped up, Charles was the one that helped you fix them, right?
However, I do say physical therapy is part of your training. If
Yeah.
you're over the age of 30, you need to see a physical therapist.
And tape is actually part of a physiotherapy as well.
I know.
So a lot of
I've had that tape put on me before. Am I doing anything or not? I don't know. But yeah, I know. But doesn't but isn't that kind of counter to your points? Like your knee issues, maybe you should have gone and seen a physio and you weren't seeing a physio, but then your knee issues that you had ended up being resolved by guidance from someone that didn't have that physio degree.
However, I did tell him he still needed physio.
Yes, yeah.
Did you go?
But I'm seeing a physio on a regular basis, especially when you run, and especially when you run with Charles, and when he's pushing you to the next level. Sometimes, you get hurt, but from your own craziness. But like last year, I got hurt for a month because of my ego.
Yeah, well, that's
so that's a different story.
Yeah,
but,
I think we've all probably been guilty of that a little bit here and there.
When you're with me, you won't be hurt, but I can't guarantee what you do when I'm not
exactly.
around.
I had, Dan, from the gym. So Charles, you know this story. So
he knows Dan too.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, I wanted to PR my squat. I forget what it was. Or it was, I think it was, I wanted to get up to 400 pound squat at one point, and I had failed a couple times where I could, it was like 380, 390, but the 400 I just couldn't do. So eventually I do it, squat 400 pretty well. Like it didn't look too hard. I was like, oh man, that felt pretty good. Like I'm really happy that I could do that. So the next week I'm doing some other weightlifting with another guy from the gym. And he starts squatting heavy. I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do some squats too. So I start doing squat. We start talking. I'm like, yeah, I hit 400 last week. I felt like I had more in me. And he's like, maybe try it. Right? So we work up to a heavy, and as Dan walks by and he sees the weight on the bar, and he sees me waiting to go, and I can see him glare at me. And he just looked away. And I'm like, he is so unimpressed with me right now. Because, you work up, you know how it is, right? You work up for a race. That's when you're at your peak. And then you kind of have to taper off and give your body that break. Even if you think there was more, you're like, okay, well, maybe I can do it again. And I don't know if this caused it, but shortly after is when I actually got my hernia. So Dan's convinced. I'm like, dude, I didn't get it that day because I didn't feel it that day.
Probably.
But, yeah, I know, but I'll never give him that one. Okay? I'll never admit to that. But it was just funny that. That ended up that ego trip that I had squatting heavy. And I was able to squat heavier at least. At least I got a heavier lift, But it was silly. I shouldn't have. I'd much rather live my life without a hernia if that's what ended up causing it or not. I'm not sure. So
no, for sure.
But Cool. Okay. So then what's, you guys are bringing your families with you and stuff. That's the whole idea. And then what about the sponsors? When you guys are going out looking at sponsors, I'm just curious with this type of thing and this type of environment, economy is a little bit slower and stuff. Are you guys getting how are you engaging with sponsors? Back to that, I guess, original question I was asking, is that more the personal relationships that you have, that you guys is that how that's been able to become a success? That to me would not be an AI thing.
Right.
But it seems like you're using some flows to get initial contact with people.
Yeah, we had some flows, basically generating contact lists, because we are approaching a lot of, let's say, schools, different type of businesses. So just to scrape businesses, local businesses.
So you would tell it, go through Oakville or whatever, go through Halton.
Just give us, so I'm scraping for, let's say, business names, email addresses, and that we can reach out to them.
You're a spammer. No.
Spammer.
No, but I get what I'm joking.
Yeah?
I'm joking.
That'll be your new nickname.
Yeah.
The spammer.
So, but then reaching out to them and just to introduce the race to the community.
Okay, can I ask you? Can I stop you there for a second? So let's say there was a list of 50 potential school sponsors, whatever you wanted, and it's pretty much the initial email is pretty much the same email that you're sending to all of them.
If I can interject into that, it's not the same. So what you can do is just basically you learn about the business. So what I usually do, even for my own business, so when we, let's say, we're reaching out cold leads. So first we learn all the businesses, what they do, what kind of practice do they have, and then the email is being written towards the clinic itself. It's a personalized email. So the same thing with every sponsor that we are reaching out to. So I'm able to learn about the business that they are in, what they are producing, whether they are supporting charities or not, and what type of charities they are supporting, how much they donated during the last few years, and we always use this information with that initial email as well.
Are you sending those emails manually one by one yourself?
Depends. Some, for the main sponsors, yes. But for, not mass, but a lot of smaller businesses, we send through Claude.
And because you can then guide Claude to look into certain aspects of the business and then put that in there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I'm asking Claude basically so I'm using different MCPs. So Perplexity or Fireclaw, it will go to their website. It will see what's on the website, what are they doing, in every page, and then it will give me back, a sort of a template. What can we do?
Mm-hmm.
But the main purpose of the email is just to promote the race.
So some people are going to look at that and they're going to think, well, that's basically you're just copying, pasting email addresses and it's sending out an email. Mm-hmm. And that would be a very generic message that anyone can do. I look at it differently and I think, I'm like, well, no, that's still kind of like a personalized message from Greg, because if you do it right, you can do it far better. So if I was to do it and I just said, well, here, go send these a list of, here's the list of 50 email addresses, send them all an email about, why they should support this event or something like that. But if you're giving it more guidance, saying, well, the way Greg thinks is hey, look into their business, see what charities they support, see how this would be a good match, see this, and then put that into the email. That to me is it's kind of you're still writing it, or you're guiding it, even if you're not writing it, and it's still personalized enough that I don't feel like this is this generic thing, even though that the actual finished product is being created by a bot, if that makes sense. I'm curious what you think, because I know some people are going to some people look at this stuff and they're like, there's just no way that's a bad thing. We shouldn't be doing that type of stuff.
It's the case is not always the same to each business, because we are all running the business a different way, or having business different sizes and shapes and all that stuff. So, like when we have a project, I have a project in my local drive, so it knows everything what we do. It has access to our websites. It has access to every single piece of communication that we've done so far. So then, based on this information, it creates kind of a reach out email to create some sort of a event. So let's say some companies, we reaching out, we are telling them, okay, let's come and join us as a partnership, and when you join as a sponsor, you will have kind of a company event. You will have a date that with your employees and with your VIP customers, that you can invite them to Bronte Harbor, run in the morning, and then have an event, because I will have my tent over there with employees. We'll have a food, we'll have beer, we'll have music, and we can...
The beer was the priority.
Not the Gatorade, but the beer.
And then we can all celebrate and have fun. And then depending on the size of the company, so let's say if I'm reaching out to a small shop that it consists only with 2 people, the message will be different than we have a company that they are able to bring, quite substantial amount of people plus the customer.
Sure, but you're guiding that message, even though you're not the one typing each individual message. To me, if you're guiding that message and you're prompting it to do it correctly, I view that as not. You know how I jokingly called you a spammer before?
Yeah.
Like spammer would be like, one message, I scraped 100 emails, send this out, let's see what happens. That's like the spray and pray approach, right? That's spamming. But the way you're doing, even though it's being created, the finished product is being created and hits, and the send is being hit by a bot, I think it's okay. And I guess what I'm saying is I'm like, and so I understand your explanation. Do you think... Well, Charles, let me ask this. Do you think some people are and I don't even want to apply it to this. I just mean generally, do people look at that type of approach, and are some people going to view that type of approach, not from you guys, I'm talking any business, like if our business did this, okay, like use us as an example. Is it just some people look at it like, hey, like that's not, it's not even like an email for me. It's just like a spam email.
Yeah.
I don't think it is, but I'm just curious. I think there's some people might view this, and I'm not talking about this race. I'm talking about technology and society in general.
I think it's just an extension of our personal contact that we have with potential sponsors. It's the same way we're speaking to them. It's the same way they're getting it.
Yeah.
So it's just an extension of what we're doing. And it seems to be working well for us. Which
is cool. Like it's amazing that you can have it, like you can be doing that type of stuff with it.
Because initially you still need that first contact point, so you need to reach out to them and somehow convince them that this event is for them. If it's not, they will not open this email. They will not, even after reading, they will say, okay, it's a spam.
But if you had to go in and research 100 separate companies and do that specifically, it's almost impossible. And to be fair, look, I'm going to present the opposite side now to anyone that thinks that might not be a positive way. There's some companies that you may not have the time, or you may not have found if you were doing it on your own, right? That this event or any event that someone was doing could be very beneficial for that company.
Yeah.
So in some ways, by not using AI, you could make the argument by not using AI to do it this way, you could actually be doing a disservice to a certain number of businesses in the community. Mm-hmm. Right. That's the flip side to look at for anyone that feels, for anyone's thinking that maybe it's not the best approach.
Yeah.
Right. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about community and you're part of that community, yet you don't participate and you're not seen there, what does that say?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah, it's cool what you guys are doing. I think it's really instructive the way. Two things for me. One is the community that you guys have built. So Charles, I know you took it over and started it, and then not dragged. I mean, forced Greg to be part of it. But it's I think that's awesome, because to have local communities is really cool. Like, I've thought about, if I moved to a different area, I'm like, it's really weird. If you move to a different area, I've never had to experience this as I've always lived in this area, lived in Canada. My parents were immigrants, so they've had to experience this. But I'm like, it's strange when you go, you lose your entire network. And I'm like, that's really different, And I always thought, I'm like, I guess if I ever did that, I would have to join, like I'd join a gym and maybe yoga studios or community center. Maybe it's running club. Like, because I like activity and physical fitness, it'd probably be a number of those things. And it's nice to have those types of communities that are like a thriving community with hundreds of members, like you guys have with the running club. It's an important part of the community to have access to that type of stuff. So it's really cool that you guys have done that, and now just taking a step further to this run. And I think the way you've added it on and, smartly use technology to allow it to kind of happen and to kind of make it just more powerful. And I don't know, maybe more of a success. Like, I don't know, if you had to take the same amount of time to do everything manually the way you had to do it 10 years ago, maybe you guys wouldn't be at the place you're at with it.
We all are volunteers for this event. We are all volunteers. So basically, if we, so this becomes, for me, almost becomes my full-time job, which I have another 2 full-time jobs. So basically, without AI, I wouldn't be able to do, 1/8 of what I'm doing right now. So reaching out to people, writing content, anything that it's basically required to get the word out there. Even with the website, it's just, we would have to hire people to do the website, to rank the website, it's
not just the cost. It's not just the time, it's the cost as well.
It's a cost.
Yeah.
Well, 20 years I tried to put a race on in Oakville, and it was just so arduous. Like to try to get the people and the time involved, and it became too much. Where we would get started, everybody's enthusiastic at the beginning, and then when you start saying, okay, you have to do this and you have to do that, and they start realizing how much work it is. It's like, no, can't do it. And it's the reason why nothing happened.
Well, even right now, the AI is on one side. Yeah, that actually it's important whether you're doing an event, something like this, or you working within your business, or even if you work for somebody else. It's really, really important. But, then it's that physical work anyway. We have to do a lot of stuff, physically. But it helps us organize it.
Yeah.
It is a great organizational tool, but also, content-wise, anything that it's, visually, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Greg, your engineering your background is engineering, but it wasn't
mechanical,
like electrical. Okay, it was mechanical
engineering.
So you weren't so much of a software guy or a tech guy, but you did have a little bit of computer background because you spoke about DOS and being in the terminal window and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was a mechanical designer. So basically, working with AutoCAD, with 3D Studio.
So that probably helped you understand that type of thing. Yeah.
So I always was with tech, even software-wise, we used a lot of different softwares for designing of the machinery that we were doing. But, the last 12 years when I'm doing e-commerce, I'm basically wearing many different hats.
Yeah, so you're right in that technical world.
Yes.
And then, Charles, for yourself, if you were you said visual arts.
Yes.
Was it digital as well?
No, it was more old school back
then. So then when you see like the AI technology, like are you actually actively using it? How? And if so, to what level are you using it? I'm just curious.
Well, most of my stuff was on a drafting board, so that tells you how far back I went.
Yeah.
So
and that's actually why I'm asking, because I'm just curious.
And I don't. I would love to say I have the time to learn all of it. I don't. So that's why we have him.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm trying to understand. Yeah,
because he's handling all that aspect for the club, where I handled the training and all the other aspects for the.
Yeah, it's actually it's because you have the authority and the experience and the knowledge in the running side.
Yeah.
And probably within those circles. Because of your longevity in it, you have the relationships too. So it's actually a nice partnership.
And in my finance background and my arts background, I can visualize what things look like and sort of just say to Greg, well, this is how I see it.
Yeah.
And then he runs with it.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a nice little. It makes it easier to merge almost two different skill sets in a way. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, it's interesting. It's almost like a bridge between the two, and especially from the visual side, because very quickly then you can be like, okay, what are you seeing? And you can kind of create the visual to see if that's actually truly what you're seeing from your experience or not, or if it has to be something a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
So
that's what we have to, because right now the design aspect will have to become reality, because we have to design our own medals, our own shirts, banners, everything.
Oh my God, yeah, there's so much you guys have to do.
Everything
you don't think
what
about.
We have to do.
Yeah,
and the medals. If we go with,
well, they gotta have to. Hey, if it's not solid gold, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
So, sorry, did you want to ask one?
No, I'm just saying that there is so much, and especially from a design point of view, like not the medals, the look of the course, how the signage appears on the course, which is start finish line. The signage to guide people through the park. This is that. When is events happening? All this stuff is.
It's amazing. Like, all that stuff is important. And when it's done right, it just adds to the event and it just makes it better.
Yeah.
But the average person coming doesn't, they'll just be like, oh, that was a good event. But they don't understand all the moving parts, and they don't realize that some of those little moving parts that you're super picky over and you spend time over, that some people might be like you said, the parking signs, like, why does that even matter? Who cares? They'll figure it out. It's like, no, that's what makes the difference. Even though people don't realize sometimes that's what makes the difference. Yeah. It is, so.
Even yesterday we had a meeting with the organizers that we have in our group. So we have a core group of probably about 8-9 people within the club that we are organizing together. So we were talking about many different pieces that will have to become a reality. One of them is emergency plan. So we have to think of, when we bring 800 people, if something happens, how we're going to do it. How we're going to evacuate, the park, and all this.
The whole other
so that's
thing.
a different things.
And it's more than 800 if they're in the park. So
yes.
It's a big task.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, our events, like one of the little things that we do is we always have people. I mean, it's not nearly as many moving parts as you guys, but at 1,000-person event, we when it starts, and that's always when seating is at it's at a premium. We try to have people at every state. We have stations at every aisle and in the front, and you've been there. Mm-hmm. And if people are looking for a seat, they'll wave them down to be like, oh, here, come, there's a seat right here. And at a 1,000-person event, you're not usually, after it started, you're usually not getting escorted to a seat. Mm-hmm. But that's what we try to do, just to try to make sure that, people don't feel like, oh, now I have to stand here. It's a much smaller thing. It's less important than evacuation of a park and safety instances.
But then it's a great point, because even people are thinking, okay, I'm coming to that event, but they don't know what's behind to make this event reality, because you still have to think, okay, what about when the fire happens? Where are we going to go? Who is responsible for certain things?
Yeah.
How does a fire truck get into the park?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially when there's a race on and there's a bunch of people there. It changes the equation. It's not like, oh, they just drive down the street. It's different, right?
Yeah.
Very cool, guys. I look, 20 years, like you said, you've been thinking about doing this. So it's nice to see it finally coming to fruition. It's not there yet, and I'm sure there's a lot to go between now and then. For anyone that wants to jump on board, like I said, I think I'm going to tell my kids that's what for my Father's Day gift is like, hey, let's go run this, because that's what I like to do. If it's raining, I might not, but
don't say that word.
No, sorry. Yeah. Actually, I still will. How about I'll make you a deal. Yeah. If it's rain, I don't care. I'm coming rain or shine. Okay. But
yeah, the event is rain or shine, so it's gonna happen no matter what.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And so for anyone, you mentioned it once before. What's the URL again?
So this is BronteHarborClassic.com.
So BronteHarborClassic.com. So for anyone that wants to register as a runner, for anyone that wants to do a sponsor or have a little kind of like there's like a sponsor area if you want to kind of a business there.
All the information is there. There are links to a race roster website. And then they can sign for the race for the adults and for children. There's also a section for donating money for our charity, the Oakville Dads charity. And we hope we're gonna see a lot of people.
Yeah, and if you want to run with someone that has 2 concrete blocks as feet, that's me. Search me out and do that. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.